Something interesting is happening right now. And if you're a Seahawks fan, you're probably looking at this thinking, wait a second, this could actually become a bigger deal than people realize. There are some moves and some conversations starting to build up that could have a real impact moving forward. And once you connect all the pieces together, things start getting very interesting for Seattle. Before we get into it, smash that like button and drop "Go Hawks" down in the comments if you're riding with the Seahawks this season. Matthew Stafford staying in Los Angeles for longer is creating one of the biggest quarterback conversations around the NFC West right now, and the details coming out are interesting because this is not just about one player remaining with a division rival. This starts creating ripple effects that can eventually reach Seattle too. Reports discussed a new extension for Stafford worth $55 million and potentially reaching $60 million with incentives, which means the Rams are expected to keep him around through this upcoming season and beyond. The first thing that immediately stands out is that this puts an end to a lot of uncertainty around Stafford's future. There had been conversations surrounding what could happen next, and whether there would eventually be some kind of change in direction. But this move signals something very different. It tells everyone that the Rams still believe Stafford can continue performing at a high level, and that they still see an opportunity with him leading their team moving forward. What makes this interesting is that when looking at the discussion around Stafford's recent performances, the belief is that even at this stage, he has continued playing at an elite level. The expectation for many people was probably that there would be a major drop-off, especially considering his age and the amount of football he has played. Instead, the conversation shifted in the opposite direction. Rather than discussing decline, people are talking about consistency and production. Now, from a Seattle perspective, this becomes a very interesting topic because division rivals matter. Every move inside the NFC West creates reactions elsewhere. If Stafford is remaining there for at least another couple of years, then Seattle knows exactly who they are preparing for. But there was another point connected to this situation that generated attention. Questions were raised about the direction of the Rams and some previous decisions they made. If Stafford was always expected to remain around longer, then naturally people begin wondering whether other moves truly made sense. Those discussions are now becoming louder because if a franchise believes their quarterback still has years left, people will always question whether resources could have been used differently. Still, from the Seahawks angle, the conversation coming from this report remained confident. The belief presented was simple. Seattle feels capable of handling business regardless of who lines up across from them. Whether Stafford remains there or whether other future changes eventually happen, confidence remains that the Seahawks can compete. But here is where things become even more important, because Stafford's extension may create effects beyond Los Angeles. Quarterback contracts have a way of changing everything. Every time one number increases, everyone paying attention to the market starts looking ahead toward the next player waiting in line. And that brings Seattle directly into another major conversation involving Sam Darnold. The reasoning is very straightforward. Whenever quarterbacks start getting larger deals, agents notice immediately. Players notice immediately. Teams notice immediately. Suddenly, the market starts shifting upward. And according to the discussion surrounding Darnold, there is a belief that Seattle may eventually have a very important decision to make. The expectation discussed was that Darnold remains in Seattle for the near future, but eventually the organization will need to evaluate what happens after that. And this becomes fascinating because recent conversations surrounding Darnold have become much different than they used to be. There was mention of earlier struggles in previous years, and there will always be people who look at those moments and question whether a major financial commitment makes sense. But then another side of the discussion appeared. Recent production and recent play have created a completely different conversation. The argument being made is that If Darnold continues performing at a high level moving forward, his market value may continue climbing. And this is where Stafford's contract suddenly matters even more. Because if the quarterback market keeps rising, and if Darnold continues putting together strong seasons, then Seattle eventually reaches a moment where the front office must decide exactly how aggressive they want to be. Do you move earlier? Do you wait? Do you allow another season to play out? Because if waiting leads to even stronger performances, then every additional success could push future costs higher. That creates pressure, and pressure around quarterback decisions always becomes one of the biggest stories surrounding any organization. The discussion even suggested that if Darnold continues stacking productive seasons together, he could eventually put himself in a position to command top-level money among quarterbacks. That possibility creates a very important question for Seattle moving forward. If that scenario becomes reality, how far are they willing to go? Because quarterback situations can change very quickly, and today's number almost never remains tomorrow's number. And while Seattle watches its own future situation, another division storyline is also creating attention after discussions around Jacoby Brissett and Arizona. The report talked about Brissett holding out because of contract concerns, creating another unusual quarterback storyline inside the division. The feeling presented was that situations like that can create instability, and instability inside a division rival naturally becomes something Seattle fans will pay attention to. Right now, multiple quarterback stories are developing around the NFC West at the same time. But among all of them, the biggest long-term question may actually belong to Seattle, because Stafford's deal may only be the beginning of a much larger conversation involving Sam Darnold and what comes next. What do you think about this entire situation? Do you believe Stafford staying in Los Angeles could eventually impact Seattle's future decisions surrounding Sam Darnold? Do you want me to create the title ideas? If you're excited to follow every Seahawks update as soon as it drops, make sure you subscribe to the channel, leave a like on the video, and turn on notifications so you don't miss anything. We're bringing you the latest Seahawks news and rumors as they happen. And for the next big update, click the video on your screen right now because the fastest updates are waiting for you right here.